Hey there guys, welcome to our day 2 of Excel. Today I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to show you data cleaning and what we call validation. That's what you're going to focus on. In this data, I've shared this data set with you, you already have it. It has 4 sheets. We have the clean, analysis, findings, and finally the raw sheet. We are going to use the raw sheet for the sake of data cleaning in this session for our data cleaning class, okay? So um let's start. The first thing I want us to start is for you to be able to do data cleaning, you must explore your data, get to understand where the error is coming from. For example, here, the first error I can identify, I can say this column is unutilized, okay? It is a blank column, so I can decide to just right click it and then I delete it, okay? So after deleting it, you can see now I don't have a blank column, okay? So this one also I can do what? It's a blank, so I can just delete it, okay? You can see now my data is fit in this window. So that is the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check if there are duplicates, then I'm going to remove. For example, this is a sales store data. It contains the order ID, date, product price, quantity, purchase type, payment method, manager, and city. So order ID, it uniquely identifies record in a table. It's like our primary key when it comes to SQL or the Saka query language, meaning that ID should not be repeating itself. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to highlight this column, then I'm going to come to the data tab. We have different tabs in Excel that I explained during the first class, okay? So you can watch the first video to check what I was explaining. So when I highlight this column, I want to check if there are duplicates because I believe this is the order ID and it should not be having duplicates. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come, this is the delete, remove duplicates. If you are using the latest version of Excel, you are going to see it. So you just click on this, you can see it's going to bring a pop-up window, then you can just leave everything the way it is and say remove duplicates, and duplicates are going to be removed everywhere. So in this case, I'm just interested to remove duplicates in which row? In the, you can unmark the rest and then just remove duplicates in, let's say, just remove duplicates in the order ID and say okay. Okay, so duplicates are going to be removed, okay? Then the next thing that you can, so that's how to remove duplicates. So the next thing you can do, you can identify where else are you seeing the error. Where else can you see the error? I've expanded this sheet so that you can see it clearly. You can see when it comes to the manager row, we have an error whereby the name Tom Jackson is having a space in between. This space is unnecessary here. You can also see the second name, Pablo Perez, is having a space here that is unnecessary. To the third name, the same, is having space that is unnecessary. But you can see the fourth name, Walter Mueller, is having no space. So meaning this one is okay, this one is okay, this one is having unnecessary space at the beginning, it's supposed to be clean. This one is okay, this one is okay, this one is okay, this one is having unnecessary space at the beginning, it's supposed to be clean. So if you have a column like this in Excel and I want to remove these spaces by default, you're not going to do it one by one. You're going to use a column, you're going to use a formula called the trim. So I'll just create a new column for manager and I can call it manager 2. So once I create manager 2, I can say is equals to what? Trim. You're going to use trim and you take this one, you just take your value and I say enter. So you can see what is happening and I can drag and drop to the end, up to the end, depending with where I can go up to. So this is the end. And I want you to confirm now to me that everything has been cleared. Can you see now? Let's go back to the beginning. We had an issue with Tom Jackson. Can you confirm that we have the necessary spaces have been removed now? Now I want to teach you something, because now this one is the clean column and this one was the previous column that was not clean. If you come here directly and say delete, you're going to get an error here. Why? Because this column, this is like a calculated for column. It is a column that has been created from the deleted column. So when you delete it, it's going to affect this column, okay? So I'm going to return that column. What are you supposed to do so that you don't run to an error? What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy, okay? Then after copying, I'm going to come to a column like this one. Then I'm going to paste as values. You can see you have different paste options. You have the paste that is the normal one. You have paste and having 1, 2, 3. This means paste as value. So when you paste as value, so let me just escape to remove this. So you see right now I can delete this one and I can also delete this one, but I'm not going to have an issue with my manager too. Okay guys, so you can see how you must paste it as value after trimming for you to remove the column that is you don't need it. Okay, so the other thing you can do, let's say that you've been asked to get the first name of the manager. They want first name of the manager. How can you do this? We have something called the text functions in Excel. So this is the manager we are having here. You want to get the first name of the manager. What are you going to do? You are going to use the left function. Here in the left function, you are going to say this is the column that, okay, I can see an issue here. This is the column. So you say this one. Then in this one, you're going to put comma. After putting comma, you're going to say you want to find. Find is also a formula by itself. Then here you're going to put empty bracket like this. Then after empty bracket, you're going to put a comma. Then you refer to that cell again. That is cell I2. Then after doing that, you can close and say -1. Okay. Enter. Let's say, do you want to accept this correction? Yes. So you can see it's bringing the first name. So you can drop up to downwards and the first names are going to be generated. So this one can generate the first name. So you can generate the first name using the left function in Excel. Okay. So the other thing is to ensure that the date column do we have a date column? We have date column here. How are you going to make sure that the date column is a date? Okay, is formatted as short date. Okay. So let me check. So let me come here and say, if you want to check if it's a date, you're going to say is equals to date value. Then I open the bracket. Sorry, this is an error. So date is this one here. Am I doing the right thing? So the syntax, then I say enter. Then you can see it's bringing an error asking for value. Okay. So let me delete that. So the other way you can check if that is the right date, you can come here, go to home, you can see this is a date. So you can highlight the whole column, you can see it's a general. Then I can always come and change it to a short date. So what do you mean by the difference between short date and long date? You can see when you send to a long date Monday, this is how the long date appears, but you can return to a short date the way it was. Okay. Another thing is to ensure that the price, you can see price, you can use it for calculation. So you must ensure that this one is not a general. You ensure that this is something like a number. Okay. Also quantity, you ensure that this is something like a number. This is the process of cleaning your data to make sure that everything is okay. Then let's come to the payment method. Here in the payment method, you can see you have online, you have in-store, we have several payment methods that are here. You can't know every. You can see the other one here is drive-through. So here, if you want to easily analyze your data when cleaning your data, you can do this and then you come here and say sort on filter. Then you can insert a filter. So when you insert a filter, you can see we've inserted this filter here. So here, if you want to view only online, you can unmark the rest. Okay. When you unmark this and say okay, you can see the data has been reduced and that the only values that are present right now are the values for online purchase type. So you can still come here to the filter and edit the filter. Maybe you don't need the online, just need the drive-through. So when you check, you can see everything that appears is the drive-through. So that is how to add a filter also in column. It helps you to clean your data so easily. Another thing that I want to show you maybe is data validation. Data validation is mostly used when entering data in Excel. Okay, so for example, we know we are having a value like we're having a column called quantity 2, because I'm saying 2 because I think you already have quantity here. I don't want to interfere with it. So quantity, then you want to set a validation to this column, because now you know quantity can never be 0. Okay, it can never be 0, it can never be 0, it must be a value that is greater than 0. So you can set a rule: whenever someone enters here, it must take a value that is greater than 0. So how are you going to do that? I'm going to highlight this column containing quantity 2, and I'll come here under data. Under data, I'm going to come to data validation. It's supposed to be somewhere here. You can see data validation is here. So here I can say settings, allow not any value. I can say allow whole number. Minimum should be 1. Maximum maybe you can set to 100, and you can set. So you can see this one, when you set and someone enters 2, it takes 34, it takes, but when someone enters 0, you not go take it. Okay, so when someone enters a value like -1, that is it's not going to accept it. Then apart from that, you can also still come here under validation, and you can set a rule. Instead of that error to appear, you can tell the user that title of the error should be error. You can set something like error please, and say input message should be something like, please values should be from 1 to 100 only. So okay, so if the user come here and enter, so you can see it's leading the user. You can see this one is appearing here. It's telling the user that value, so it's cautioning the user that if the user tries to enter 0, you not will accept it. Okay, so the other thing you can do here, apart from only setting that, you can also come under data validation, and you can set the error alert. So the error alert, we have 3 types of error alert. You can set a warning, you can set information, you can set stop. So you can see how information looks like. So you can say title to be info, and you're telling the user, please value must be between 1 and 100. You say okay. So here, if user come enter the value like 0, info value must be between 1 and 100. So the user is supposed to come enter value like 100. If the user enter value like 108, the info value must be between 1 and 100. So you can set these validation rules. Okay, you can set those validation rules to make sure. For example, you can also have a column taking phone numbers, or let's say you have a column taking email addresses. Okay, email addresses. Then you want to set a validation here. You just come here, set data validation. Then you say the settings should be not any value, should be must be what? For email, maybe we can say we can set a text length to be values not between. You can also set to should be greater than at least 10 value. Okay, this is a good example, can be a phone number. So maybe depending on the country which you're operating on, the phone number maybe is 10 digits. So you can come here and set data validation and say the text length should be greater than what? Should be equal to 10. So if the user come and enters phone number here 0708080808, okay, less number, no go accept it. Say the value doesn't match the validation criteria, so the person has to enter at least 10 value for it to take. We try, we set it to 10. So you see that's how to set validation. You can limit, even you can say if you're having a column called, you can say you're having a column called age, and you can come here and say let me set a citation to this whole column. You come here, you say data validation, and you set that allow a whole number, and the whole number should be always between. Of course, maybe you're entering the data of students at school, so every student maybe is 18 years and above to not more than 50. So you set that. So if someone come here and say that the student is of 56, it's going to refuse. So you must enter value that is less than that. So that's how it works. That is data validation. Thank you for watching. We are going to cover everything in Excel. This is just day 2. Make sure you follow up every day until day 10.